Hey guys, I'm Combat Craig, and today we're talking about the big myth. If you're rated at 100%, can I work? So you may have heard the common myth that working with 100% VA disability rating is not allowed. There's a lot of different reasons why veterans receive a 100% VA rating, and there are a lot of different opportunities where veterans find themselves working with a 100% VA disability rating. So the short answer is yes, you cannot work. The only restriction that I'm aware of is if you're on TDIU, total disability, individual unemployability. TDIU provides full compensation at the 100% level for veterans who can't work due to their disability, but their rating is lower. So TDIU is the only disqualifier. Let's look at some different. Let's talk about this work stuff a little bit. So if you're out looking for a job and you have a 100% VA disability rating, you might not want to choose to withhold that information from your potential employer. You totally can. This is your decision. It's a disability. It's not like you have a felony. You probably do have to disclose those, right? So it doesn't matter if you're working with a 100% VA disability rating or any other percentage. It's up to you whether you want to disclose that to your employer or not. There's absolutely no obligation to share your medical history with anyone, like your neighbors, friends, especially your employer. And this is a protection afforded to veterans and all Americans under the Americans with Disability Act, the ADA. The ADA protects employees no matter their status. You could be working with a 100% VA disability rating, or you could be working with a 10% VA disability rating, and anything and everything in between, right? Think about it. Tinnitus, 10%, you work with that you have to. It's kind of the same thing if you're 100%. You could tell your employer about your condition. Maybe you do need some kind of special accommodations and you haven't, you feel like you still want to work or whatever the deal is, but completely up to you. Um, One of the most common reasons you would want to share this with your employer is the special accommodation thing. If you suffer from PTSD, TBI, something like that. If there's, I don't know what situation you would be in where you would want to disclose that, and a special accommodation would be made for you, but it happens. Again, it's up to you and your employer to go through that. Um, Employers are prohibited from treating any applicant or employee unfavorably due to their VA rating. So regardless of whether you're a veteran or not, or what your disability rating is, they can't, treat you differently. So keep that in mind when you're applying for a job. Anybody have any actual experience with this? Do you have 100% VA rating and you're thinking about getting a job, or you did apply for a job, and you have something to chime in on the comments? Please let me know what your situation is so I can share it with everybody, and we can all learn together. So another myth about working with a 100% VA rating is that you can't work in law enforcement. I was actually in law enforcement when I was in the Air Force. So this was a logical job. I just didn't want to go roaming around the hood. Back in the day where I lived, that was like the most likely place. So I was like, yeah, no thanks. And then I have that little problem with PTSD and getting fired from every job. So I probably would have made it through training anyway. So I went to junior college for 6 years and learned a lot of computer stuff, and that never materialized. And here I am 30 years later. So there's a lot of veterans in law enforcement. That's I talk to a lot of cops. There's a lot of the transition is easier ish, if you will. You know, you went through basic training. You got your partner six, all that kind of stuff. But working in law enforcement, especially if you have a mental health rating, it's changing. The stigma is changing. It hasn't changed. It's just changing. When veterans join law enforcement, they typically undergo a psychological evaluation. If you're suffering from PTSD and being open and honest about it, it doesn't automatically disqualify you from getting the job. So, always be open and honest about this stuff. You finally got open and honest with yourself, and then you're able to get treatment of some sort, and then you're able to file a claim and get yourself to 100%. You might have walked out, as a youngster in your 20s with a 100% PTSD rating. So, obviously you're going to go be a job with a cop, being a cop, be honest. Um, Law enforcement, there's a lot of PTSD associated with that job, obviously. So they understand. It depends on, what I would probably check with the department, see what you can learn about them. And a lot of departments kind of have a stance, right? Like you still have this American Disabilities Act, so they can't have like an official law stance or whatever, but you can kind of get a feel. Are there other veterans working there? Does anybody else have a 100% PTSD rating? You can kind of feel these guys out and see if this might be a good fit for you. I don't know, maybe talk to the chief or something like that. Um, Another common part of this is being in law enforcement and carrying a weapon, especially if you have a 100% VA rating for PTSD. Not a problem. I know a lot of people think it's a problem. Think about it. If you have a disability and you're in a wheelchair or something like that, you have the right to own and carry a firearm, concealed carry, whatever way you want to do it, and whatever way is consistent with the laws in your state. So, same thing. I mean, mental health is a different kind of disability than being in a wheelchair, but it's a disability nonetheless, and it's protected by the ADA. So you're really only putting yourself at risk when you're breaking the law. If you're out there being irresponsible with your weapon and you're, breaking the law in your city or your county or your state, where you're showing up to with any kind of weapon other than a rubber band if you live in the state of California. So that's another myth that people encounter, veterans encounter. And like I said, a lot of cops file claims with us and with us. I mean, with VA Claims Insider. And if you're thinking about filing a claim, you want to talk through this stuff, and you want to talk through your strategy, sign up at combatcraigwins.com, and we'll get you set up with one of my veteran coaches. And then more importantly, we'll get you over to a independent doctor to help you with the independent medical opinion you're crucially going to need for your VA claim. But we could talk about your situation and your concerns. And just basically, a lot of guys are like, yeah, I don't really know if I want to pull the trigger on a 100% claim. I'm 18 years in. I'm kind of thinking about waiting. So that's on you. I understand. But again, legally, they can't do anything about it. So there's lots of different jobs that you can hold, like pretty much any jobs. I mean, go for something that you think you're going to fit into, and you can work around your disability with it. It would be ridiculous if you're have 100% disability rating and your back's completely jacked, you're not on TDIU, you got radiculopathy ratings, your back's at 40 or whatever it is, and then you're going to do a hard labor job. I mean, that just wouldn't make sense. It doesn't matter about the ADA protecting you or anything like that. You're just physically not going to be able to do that work. So, be reasonable about that. So I wanted to kind of see what you guys know about this stuff. If you have anything to share, and just wanted to kind of throw a few things out there for you guys, see what you thought, and let's go over and take a few comments. Good morning. What's up, Richard? Good to see you too. Good afternoon, Aztec King. Hi, Lisa. I don't think you're first. You're fourth and fifth. Can lumbar be secondary to cervical? I'm assuming you mean the lumbar spine. Can a lumbar spine issue be secondary to your already service-connected cervical spine? Absolutely. It's all one body part, right? Starts in your cervical, goes down however many joints into your thoracic spine, and then down into your lumbar spine. So if you're having neck issues, if you're having lumbar issues and you're looking for a place to connect it on a secondary basis, I would look at your already service-connected neck, if that's the case. If you have any other service-connected parts in your body, I would look at connecting it to that as well. Learn about VA law and learn about your disability. Do a search for it and learn about all the different ratings and all the secondaries that are available out there. You can go to va.gov. There's BVA decisions, the Board of Veterans Appeals. And I guarantee you, if there's a claim that you're thinking about filing or a secondary that you don't quite understand, you can just Google it in there and you can go look and see what other veterans have done. I mean, obviously, some of these are precedent, not president. Must have been thinking about that awesome debate we had last night. That was funny. What a shit show that was. Funny though. Anyway, yeah, so you can go into the BVA and you can see what other veterans have done. You could read the decisions. You could read the arguments. Obviously, if it's in the BVA, the veteran initially got his claim denied and then he appealed it, maybe a higher level review or something like that. That got denied. And then it went all the way to the BVA. So at that point, he probably has a lawyer. So keep that in mind too. As you're reading the way this argument is laid out, keep in mind, most likely there's a lawyer, and you can see that in the decision as well. But you can search around for these things and see what other guys and gals have done and see if any of that fits for you. Especially if you're looking at a secondary service connection. If you can find multiple BVA decisions, I would print those off or save them or whatever, and potentially even file them with your claim as examples. They'll probably overlook them because VA writers aren't required to go look at other BVA decisions. That usually is an argument up at the BVA or sometimes in higher level reviews. But take a look at it. Keep up the good work. Good morning. Thanks. Got a little spacey background going on here. Got a little bit too much light. Paul, always great info. Keep it coming. And for anyone on the fence, VA Claims Insider is the bomb. In 4 months, I went from 90 to 100% PNT. Let's go, vets, and join our Hundo Club. Absolutely. I see people pop in every now and then talking about veterans, learning how to work the system or game the system or blah, 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 blah. And there's a mindset out there. This is another kind of old stigma out there that the VA is completely fair. Like, these guys really must have mental health problems, or they're just stupid or something. Like, they just think that, well, you would just naturally have the rating you deserve. Again, maybe these guys have physical things going on with them that were undisputable, but when it comes to things like mental health, it's just not the case. When I walked out of the Air Force during Desert Storm, PTSD had only become a thing in 1980. So the VA didn't adopt it, and they certainly didn't diagnose me with it in service. And I just had an adjustment disorder because I was having problems. So I do have some evidence of a medical condition that I was able to point back to. But for PTSD, obviously, you need a specific stressor. So we can help you with all that stuff. CombatCraigWins.com is how you sign up. You guys that want to call and talk about your strategies, sign up and let's do something instead of talking about your strategy. Let's just move you forward. Would be that's a more actionable kind of idea. Yes, I've been out of the workforce for a while, so I'm not familiar with this. If they ask you about your disabilities, be up front. Again, I can't remember my last job application. I pretty much worked for myself my whole life, so that could have been on there for a long time, and I've just complete missed it. You were ultimately fired because how they treated you and your mental health suffered tremendously, but I'm at 80%. So yeah, this is kind of that flip side of the coin. Working with 100% VA rating and then working with any VA rating, and then everybody's different, right? You handle stress different. You handle annoying coworkers, bosses, customers. Everything's a little bit different, and it works differently for everybody. So I know it feels like to ultimately get fired because I've been fired from every single one of my job because I'm argumentative. I don't like that position of authority. I don't care who you are. Like, I already just hate you, whether you're cool or not. Most of the times you're not. You're working some political angle. Yeah, if your mental health condition suffered tremendously at work and you cannot work, I would take a look at TDIU, total disability based on individual unemployability. You're going to remain at the 80% rate, but if you win your TDIU claim, you can get paid at the 100% rate, and you can get benefits at the 100% rate. Then you might, depending on your age and a lot of factors, severity of your condition and stuff like that, you can also get TDIU 100% permanent and total. And permanent and total unlocks a whole different level of benefits, like complete student loan forgiveness is just one, and CHAP VA for the kids. Lots of them. I don't have that list in front of me right now. Employers put requirements: lift 50 to 70 pounds on your feet. That will push many of us out of that job. So, yeah, this is, in addition to you being realistic about this stuff, you also need to see what the job requires. I would never be able to do a 50-pound job and be on my feet. I have severe back problems and foot problems, and as I can sit, and you guys see me making videos and stuff like that. I pop on here for a half hour, maybe edit a video here and there, put a little description in there, and that's it. Then I go. My chronic fatigue syndrome might take over. I might not pop up for a couple days. So behind the scenes in my life, I'm not compatible with a job ever again. Let's see. James, appreciate everything you're sharing with us. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, and knowing how to use that knowledge and do something powerful with it would be an add-on to that. Knowing what to do is one thing, right? We all talk about, we're all on here because we're talking about VA disability claims. We're either at the rating and compensation we deserve, and we're learning more about it because now we care enough to protect it. Potentially fight a reduction. Keep going to therapy and stuff like that. And then there's a lot of people that are just kind of stumbling in at various levels. Filed a loser claim, are getting ready to file another claim, and you don't want to file another loser claim. So we're all at different stages, but there's a common theme here. You need a diagnosis of a condition, right? You need a nexus to connect this condition to your active duty service. It's either going to be a direct service connection, a secondary service connection, presumptive service connection, might be for an increase, might be a couple more. But this is where you get into the medical part. The nexus needs to be done by a doctor. The VA is probably not going to do the nexus for you. Sometimes they do, most times they don't. Very specific language. It's on an at least as likely as not standard, which means 50-50. When a doctor says, hey, Combat Craig's PTSD is at least as likely as not a result of his active duty service or his already service connected foot or whatever it is, the doctor isn't going out on a limb and saying it's absolutely due to or more likely than not. He's just saying at least as likely as not. The important thing here is it's a doctor saying this, and this is a medical disability. So you need a doctor on your side. I'm suggesting that VHA doctors, Veterans Health Administration, the treating physicians, they're probably not going to be enough for you. You could try. I tried using their medical evidence, and I got denied every time. Most of you in here have also tried that, but I get it. You want to keep trying. You're getting it. We're going on to this. I'm still stuck on knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, but doing something with that knowledge. Like if you know you need to go get a private doctor to write your independent medical opinion, so you have your side of the story. When they send you to the C&P examiner and get their side of the story, you have something to fight it with. That's action. And that's what I want you guys to do. Learn what you need to learn. But at some point, you're going to have to take action. And signing up is a good way to take action. Best way. You could talk to me about how your strategy looks and all that kind of stuff, but it's not an actionable thing. It's just us bullshitting. I mean, it's cool. We can bullshit around in the comments, but I am not moving your claim forward. A doctor is what you need. A veteran coach is what you need. An advocate, a lawyer. I don't know. You might need somebody else, but I'm none of those types of people. So, literally, we could sit here and talk for 2 hours, but it's not going to actually move your claim forward. So keep that in mind. Spend whatever time you need to learn what you need to learn. But at some point, you're going to be like, all right, I have the knowledge. Now it's time to put this into action and do something. Yeah, you're 100% PNT, Lisa. Get your concealed carry all day long. I'm pretty sure you live in a veteran or a concealed carry Second Amendment state. That's good. I'm looking at going for an overnight order filler position. Think it might be a lot easier than dealing with general public on a daily basis. So this is a great example of if you can work. I mean, it's so much better to work. Work brings money. It makes you feel like a provider. Whatever, whether you're male or female, responsible person, gives you something to do, something to wake up for. I don't really wake up for work. I've never really had a problem finding work stuff and hobbies. I got millions of them, but a lot of people like that structure of, wake up at 6 and get there at 7 and stay there till 5. And yeah, if you could do it, but an overnight filler position, less people, less light, just the 9 to 5 grind. It doesn't exist typically in any kind of work environment, unless you're a cop or ambulance or hospital or something. But even that is ratcheted down because all the back office people that work 9 to 5, they're gone. Hello, Mr. Craig. I'm not Mr. Craig. I'm just Combat Craig or Craig. Cool. If you need to make that last leap, CombatCraigWins.com. That's it. Easiest way that I could help you. Wow, after several months in this pandemic, I finally have my CNP exam tomorrow. Wish me luck. Good luck. Not about luck, though, right? You're prepared. You know what you're going to talk about, your disability. You know what you're not going to talk about, anything that has nothing to do with your disability. How is your day? It's not good, right? I'm here with you doing the CNP exam. Been waiting for this stupid pandemic to come up. So your day is not good. You're not cheerful. You're stressed out. It's totally fine to say stuff like that. But if you're not going in for a mental health CNP exam, I'd be a little light on the mental health stuff and be very heavy on the orthopedic stuff. And I don't have my goniometer. Make sure they're using a goniometer on you. Yeah, don't dress up for your CNP exam. Just wear what's comfortable. If you wear a suit and a tie around and you're comfortable, I think that's strange, but you might. But yeah, like this: t-shirt, shorts, jeans, flip flops. Those are all perfect things to wear. If you're disheveled, like I am with my beard, I'm not going to go trim it for the guy. But I do take showers. Sometimes it takes me a day because I don't want to get out of bed. But my typical behavior is be clean and wear clean clothes. So walking in there all stained up and stinky and stuff, unless that's the way you actually are, they can sniff that out a mile away. You're fooling nobody. And then you got to live in your stinky clothes while you're driving there. That's not going to help you prepare for your CNP exam. The magic question: how long does it take for rating decisions to be sent out after CNP exams are complete? If you can figure that one out, please let us know. We would all like to know that. All over the board. If I was going to just say, typically speaking, um, it seems like it's like 30 days. They could send you to a CNP exam, and then, okay, mental health. Oh, he's got 17 more conditions, more CNP exams. So it really depends on how complex your disability is, how hard you made it on the VA to do the testing they need to do to check out your claim and make sure it's valid. But typically, if you do it right, provide an independent medical opinion, file one or two disabilities. You've got your private doctor backing you up. The VA sends you to a CNP exam for one or two of those things. I would say 30 days after that CNP exam is kind of like an average. If it's been 60, I would probably go look at your claim and see if you can figure out if you made it complicated. But, if you're like, hey, this is solid, it's a fully developed claim, they haven't converted it to a standard claim because I didn't actually fully develop it. I just said I did, but I didn't. So, check that out. But after 60 days, give them a call. What's going on, VA? Yeah, and could be months. Whoops. Could be months. I know it's slower now. They used to have when you go file a claim, or I don't know where it is on va.gov, but there's like how long it typically takes to process a claim. It used to be like 89 days, and then I've seen 93 days, and now it's like 120 days was the last time I checked, somewhere around there. So it's definitely taking longer. Before and after varies. Lisa says she had a decision letter within 6 weeks. I would say that was probably about how long it took me. Maybe it's 2 months. Glad you like the background, Tom. Hi, Jennifer. How are you doing? Glad that you love my channel and appreciate the help. That's what this is all about here: helping, talking, communicating. Continue to do that in the comments. There's a lot of people that support this channel that have a lot more experience than I do. I'm just the pretty little face that gets up here and gets the videos moving and gets the conversation going. But you guys drive the conversation. I mean, I hop in and try to say stuff if I know the answer to it. But ask the question and just kind of remember how you're framing the question in the comments. YouTube comments they don't work like Facebook, which that's another thing. I did a video about private investigators. Delete your Facebook account. It's just not going to do you any good if you have any kind of disability or want any kind of privacy. But in the YouTube comments, writing a big long note in there. I mean, that's great. People do it. I understand it. You want to make a statement or you're frustrated. But if you want to think about somebody coming along to answer that question, so kind of, hey, is tinnitus, I have tinnitus and I want to attach migraines to my tinnitus on a secondary basis. Anybody having an experience with this? Have you done it? Did it work? Like, that's a kind of a question where I could come through and give it an answer, and then somebody else can answer it. So just kind of remember how you're framing these questions so you can get the answer that you're actually looking for. Scrolling through. I've never heard of conversion disorder. Secondary. Drop my smoke. I've never heard of a conversion disorder. I'm assuming since it says disorder, it's some kind of mental health thing, but I've never heard of that. What is that? Anybody know? Good morning. Yeah, they are. Don't fall for the chit chat at your CNP exam, and yeah, they are watching you from the moment you enter that parking lot. Now, I made this video about private investigators following people along. That was more about workers' comp. That was a workers' comp claim. I know it's been done by the VA and by Social Security Disability. I don't know if that's their typical MO. I don't think they have the money for it. But when you go into a CNP exam, absolutely think that the moment you enter that parking lot, they're watching you park, get out of your car, open the door. If you have problems with your arm and you can grab some heavy ass door and open it with no effort, just they got cameras all over these places and stuff like that. Just be aware and know that they're probably watching you. You're 90% rated unemployable at 100% PNT. Can that be taken away from you? Most likely not. If you're permanent and total, you're 90%, and then you're getting paid. You're basically TDIU 100% PNT. That can be taken away from you if you go file for an increase. Or if you give them some other kind of reason, you decide to go for a special monthly compensation. Right now, you're just where you're at. Not sure how old you are and all that kind of stuff, but the easiest way to avoid a rating being taken away from you is to keep seeking treatment. They really look at it in a very simplistic way. If you fought your way up to 90%, then you proved your TDIU claim, you're 100% PNT, and you got all this done when you were 25, and you're now asking this question and you're 40 and you haven't showed up to the VA for 15 years, I would get some kind of treatment going. That's the easiest way they do it, and they just have a weird way of looking at it. If you don't show up and have any kind of, don't go to a private doctor and upload your records or go to their doctors, they're just going to assume that you magically got better. That's what it means. Veteran isn't seeking treatment. He must have got better. It's a really weird way to look at it, and especially when you're 100% PNT, it's tough to get that taken away. Like pretty much impossible. I don't trust them, and I don't know. I'm just always prepared for a reduction. Pinch me. It's been a year. I mean, I'm getting paid like clockwork. I just don't really trust it. Oh, thanks, Miguel. This is the comment I wanted to hear. So you're 100% permanent total, and you work full time as law enforcement. Yes, it happens a lot. And if you could share anything else that you're comfortable sharing, that would be cool. Like, obviously, if you're in law enforcement, I'm assuming you're armed, and you have no problems with that either. And going farther, the only way you're going to run into problems being a Leo is if you do something stupid with your weapon. Let me know if that stuff is true, or if you know anything about it. Morning, Jeff. How's it going, man? Lisa had an angel of a CNP examiner. Somehow I got the unicorn of examiners. So this is a good topic. My last CNP examiner, I thought I had a fair CNP exam. I didn't have a particularly good feeling about the guy. He didn't even really speak English that well, so that always kind of irks me a little bit when I'm walking around and I have to use the English language as communication, and I'm trying to communicate something difficult like a disability and it's related to this, and there's a little bit of a barrier there. That kind of irks me a little bit, but you're going to run into it, so get over it. Um, but yeah, my last guy, he didn't thank me for my service, so I automatically, when he didn't do that, I was like, this guy's legit. At least he didn't just bullshit me with "thank you for your service." And then he wasn't particularly friendly. So you will have people that will be the unicorn of CMP examiners, and that's awesome. Just watch these unicorns, because they can say unicorn stuff, and what they say and do are often very different. So just remember, stay laser focused in there. You go talk about your disability. They're supposed to be doing this or that. The chit chat and the pleasantries are irrelevant, because you're never going to see that doctor again. If you wait for very long, you're not even going to be able to do anything about that doctor. You're not going to, a complaint won't be valid. You can't say you had an inadequate CNP exam 6 months later. It's just not going to happen. So that doctor's going to sit there, keep smiling, and, oh yeah, I'm going to hook you up. Denied, denied, denied. So we need to, there's good and bad examiners out there. The ones that are legitimately bad, we need to complain and get them out of there. You're able to get your student loans forgiven at 100% period. Okay. I thought it was P&T, so I misspoke. So if that's the case, I don't have student loans. My college was cheap, but I've seen gigantic student loans, 180 grand, 220 grand, 75 grand. Like, wow, what a relief that is. So there's definitely some benefits at the 100% level for sure. Is it different when the CNP is done by a private examiner? No. They are hired out by the VA. QTC, VES, and LHI are the big ones that I could think of. I know there's a fourth big one. It escapes me. It's the same process, and they use these contractors to speed up the process. Same thing. They're on their computer filling out an internal use DBQ, and It's the same process. If you do it at if you go into the VA for your CNP exam, they're doing an internal use DBQ. And then the private examiner, they're also doing an internal use DBQ. So very quickly into your exam, you should see them on a laptop or on a computer punching things in. So not much of a difference, and it doesn't matter. Prepare for the exam, not the examiner. So it doesn't matter who the examiner is, how much they're going to throw off your game, whether they're nice or a unicorn or they're an asshole or whatever. You go in and nail your points. It really doesn't matter how it all goes down. If you're in there and you go nail it, who cares? I don't remember what I remember my last CNP exam and the one before that, but I don't remember my first one or two. It's not something I'm dwelling on at this point. How long will it take if I just found out competent to handle your own funds? The game. I don't know. I don't have much experience with that little part where it says you're deemed incompetent. Sounds like you've been deemed incompetent, and now you're fighting that, and you're gaining access to that back. I know nothing about that. I'm sorry, Chris. You can obtain copies of your CNP exam by getting your claims file. That's the easiest way. Most CNP exams are done by these private contractors, and that's a way to get your entire claims file. If you're working with a VSO, he could probably print off a couple pages. But your claims file, it's all in your claims file. That's where you go. It takes a long time, but it's all in there. If you have your exam done by the VA at a VA regional office, usually those exams show up in 30 days, and you can download it out of your Blue Button Health Report. You can't get any of your doctors to do a Nexus. Yep, that's the problem. And if it's a VA doctor, they won't do it. If it's your private doctor, he doesn't really understand what you're asking. You can explain what an Nexus is, but you got to remember your private doctor. He doesn't operate under the VA rules, but he has his own rules. So one of his rules might be, I'm not going to go put any kind of legal opinion on something that I'm not familiar with. So that happens a lot as well. You know what I mean? They get their copay and their Medicare and insurance, or however all that works. They see you, they put billing codes in, they get their money. Nexus letters are outside of the comfort level and wheelhouse, and they might just not want to do it because they're not getting paid. So you got to find a doctor that will do Nexus letters, and if you need one, I can point you to a lot of doctors that can do mental health and a variety of different things. Stay salty, bro. Yep, I'm pretty damn salty. Carlos, week 2? I know I keep saying this to you. I know Carlos is a new member of the 100% Club. And he hired VACI to do it. Awesome, awesome. I don't know. I always just thought pink guns, pink Glocks for girls is just cool. I mean, I wouldn't even mind. I just think pink handles and stuff like that. I just think they look cool. Just like, yeah, check this out, motherfucker. Here's a pink 10 millimeter pointing at your ass. How gay is that? I just think they look cool. Um, so I don't know if I would actually go. I would probably go with a different grip color or something like that. But Dino, so you just go here, combatcraigwins.com. Sign up right there. Sign up. Put your name and all that stuff in there. Fill out the privacy agreement so our veteran coach that will be assigned to you can talk to you about medical stuff. There's like HIPAA stuff. And veteran coaches are trained to talk to you and get you with the doctors you need to get with. And they need to protect that info. That's just one of many reasons why I don't do all that stuff. I don't need to see your social security numbers and your medical records, and I don't need to be sitting here, throwing my 2 cents. I do it in general just to get you guys thinking. But when it comes down to your specific claim, you need somebody specializing in your claim. Go through everything you have, look at all your medical records, figure out the path of least resistance, and get you to where you're trying to get to. That's a good one. A couple of ways you can get PNT. The way that I got it was they just gave it to me, most likely because of my age. You're older than I am, Jeff, so I would think it would probably go down like that for you as well. Um, if all of your conditions are static, you need your rating code sheet to find out if your conditions are static. And they overlooked it. That's possible. I mean, we're talking about VA raters here. They're not the brightest bunch. You can write a letter on a 214138, a personal statement. You can write one. Hey, I noticed got my rating code sheet. Maybe include that with your personal statement. Hey, everything's static. Was wondering if I could get permanent and total, or if you could deem me permanent and total, or you can have a doctor or a PA or somebody like that write you a PNT letter, which is also a service that VA Claims Insider provides. Can a PA write a Nexus letter, and can it be just as convincing as doctors' letters? Yes. I've seen on the VA Claims Insider channel, some of the most watched videos are of Leah, who's a PA. I would argue her Nexus letters run circles around a lot of doctors. Just the fact that it's a PA, a lot of doctors just whatever. Yep, at least as likely as not, signed MD Combat Craig. A PA doesn't have the signature, has to put a little bit more effort into it. And plus, I know Leah, and I've talked to her, and a few times over the last year or so, and I've seen some of her work, and yeah, very convincing, very kick-ass. Now that is a PA that I know in our network. I don't know if all of them are like that. Oh, Heather is another one. Heather and Leah are both really awesome. Okay, cruising on down. Yeah, you could use a chiropractor. You can use a chiropractor for medical evidence. For whatever reason, the VA does not recognize a doctor in physical therapy as a good doctor or whatever. But a PA, a chiropractor, what are they, DO or something like that? Nurse practitioners are in there as well. Always shoot for the best that you can get. But if you already have a diagnosis for migraines from the VA, and the main part you're trying to do is document the severity of your symptoms and the nexus, a PA could do that all day long because they're basically opining on an already existing diagnosis. Um, but we have a doctor that could do a diagnosis for migraines as well. So there's lots of options. Just know you need to have your side of the story represented. Now, a fully developed claim is there's fully developed claims, and I think it's called standard claim. So, a fully developed claim is you file a claim, right? Let's say it's combat PTSD. You didn't have a diagnosis for 27 years like I did. So, I went and got an independent medical opinion, got a diagnosis of PTSD, um, documented the severity of my symptoms, explained the link between my current symptoms and my active duty service, pointing at my DD 214, and my stressor, um, that everything is all there. The rater doesn't need any outside info. They don't need a CNP exam. I didn't get one for my last combat PTSD claim, but that doesn't mean you won't. So a fully developed claim is basically you're giving the VA everything they need to make a decision. They probably will send you to a CNP exam, but that's it. Versus going to a VSO, showing up with no medical evidence, and just hoping that they're going to find something in your service treatment records. And you're just letting the VA use the full duty to assist to go rooting through all your old stuff. Not a good way to go. Good way to set yourself up for failure. And probably a lot of you guys already know that. Should a goniometer be used during a CNP foot exam for plantar fasciitis or flat feet? I don't know. I my last CNP exam was for documenting the severity of symptoms in plantar fasciitis and flat feet, and it was more of a walk around, and he was asking me questions about the pain and how it affects my social and work life. And if you think about it, wish I had my little foot and my goniometer. There's just an arch on your foot, right? Most of that medical evidence is in there from a podiatrist. You might get sent to a podiatrist for a CNP exam, but I can't see how a goniometer would measure range of motion on your foot. Again, not saying they can't get in there with a little baby goniometer and, if you have a pinky toe problem, try to measure flexion or movement. It wouldn't shock me if one wasn't used, and then I could tell you firsthand that one wasn't used on me. You messaged you yesterday, still confused. Yeah, if you listen to me enough, I'll confuse you. I confuse myself. Don't mean to. I just ramble around circles a lot. Trying to be helpful. I know how to get to helpful people. Maybe that's what it is. I know how to get, you to a veteran coach that actually isn't a crazy moron like myself. And more importantly, to get you to the medical evidence that you need. So, yeah, I could, that's why I don't do this veteran coaching stuff. It just doesn't work for me. Just popping on YouTube and talking about this stuff. I'm not a moron. I learn about it. I know what I'm talking about, but I do make errors. I'm horrible with follow up, and you don't want me being your veteran coach. Oh, good point. You're at 86.5%. I need like 10 more claims to meet 95. Shaking my head. Or you need one good claim. If you're at 86, I'm going to say you're going to need like 60. So it's good to know. This is why it's good to know what your exact rating is. So he's at 86.5. So he's rounded up to 90. It's good to know exactly where you are. He's at 86.5, rounded up to 90, right? And he's trying to get to 95. 95 is rounded up to 100. So he is a low 90, right? So he's got 9 points to go, or whatever, 8.5 points to go. And the math gets harder the higher up you are. So you're going to need to lob in one or two high value claims. I was actually thinking about CC merch. Would you guys buy CC merch? I'd wear it. You'd like a cool hat. Maybe I should get some merch going. Combat Craig camo hoodie would rock. I think there's a demand being created. It's funny. I was just thinking about this because VA Claims Insider does merch, and I was thinking about doing merch, but I was like, is anybody gonna? I mean, the logo is definitely badass, and I would make them badass. I was just like, do I want to go wandering in a merch land? I might get a little sidetracked from my videos, but Yeah, cool. Let's get a couple good merch ideas. Love that you guys would support me by rocking Combat Craig merch. Yeah, sure is. It sure is, Angie. Um, and about VA math, you may just be making a statement that you don't get it. Like I don't get it. None of us get it. But if you truly don't understand it, that's the point. You need to find out what your 90% really represents, and then you can, all right, I'm at 87. I need to get to 95. So you need 7 points. You could play around in a disability calculator and see what you're going to need. Do you have a sleep apnea claim? Have you ever gotten a sleep study or something? What is, if I was to get the sleep study, get a diagnosis of sleep apnea, get it service connected, get a 50% rating for it, would that get me there? And then you can calculate that in, and then it just, I'm just telling you, you're going to need high value claims. If you have a 90% rating, anywhere from 85 to 94, you're going to need high value claims, and you're going to need 50 or 60%, believe it or not. So you're going to need to lob in a sleep apnea and an IBS, or an IBS and a GERD, or a GERD and some good radiculopathy ratings, or something like that. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you're homeless, Mike, but I always wondered when they ask you if you're homeless, if they actually speed things up. So that does sound a lot faster, especially at this day and age. So if you got it faster, cool. It's nice to know that that button works. Like, are you homeless? Like, it just seems like another bullshit question that they would ask just to rub it in. So hopefully you're able to get your claims file and go back and file a winning claim, because I guarantee you, I don't know what your situation is, but if you're supposed to be at 100% and you have your claims filed, now you know what you're up against with your fight. I guarantee you, you get 100% permanent and total. That will solve your homeless problem. Oh, you finally paid your payments to VA Claims Insider. Yeah, I just did a lump sum. I like the 10% discount option. Um, but yeah, whatever, however you want to do it. I'm not going to talk too much about how the VA Claims Insider payments works and all that kind of stuff. Just sign up, combatcraigwins.com. Yes, Brian sees the signups that come from me. Brian supports me. Yes. And then there's a payment plan. You can pay all at once when you win, or you can do payment programs. So it feels good, right? So now you're 100%. No more VA Claims Insider. Cool, 3,100 bucks a month for the rest of your life till you drop dead. That's a nice feeling. Okay, cool. So you got your claims going faster as well, Mike. Good. Hopefully, you're able to get everything you need in your C file and learn why they've been denying you. And I hope you get it, man. I don't have to tell you, it's going to change your life. Um, I don't know if VA Claims Insider can do it for flat feet or plantar fasciitis. I know they can do it for secondary conditions, to both of those things. So, again, getting a veteran coach, there's a lot of other things going on other than your feet that are connected to your feet, mental health stuff, migraines. Tonight, I mean, your feet pain can cause all sorts of problems. Get a little coffee mug with my logo. Awesome. I need to get some merch going. Yeah, and like I said, I do see that that is a policy of the VAs to help the homeless and the terminally ill. It's just nice to see that they're actually doing it. You know, there's a lot of things that the VA does. Like they're supposed to be um, having this veteran friendly environment for us, but we're not in it. So it's just nice to see parts of the VA that work. Um, I, I'll bash them, but also you guys need to understand. I had a 27-year run of frustration and not even knowing for the first probably 10, 12 years I even had mental health problems. So I understand more why I'm such a weirdo, but I'm also a little salty because the VA could have helped me. Like, hey, Combat Craig, we're the VA. We can help you. You're a combat veteran. We definitely should be checking you out. Like, get your ass in here and check it out. We could actually give you help in financial ways. We could help you with treatment. But I never got that call, and that's what I would like the VA to start doing is to be proactive. So and so's a veteran. You know, let's do a search on all veterans that have been in combat. How many of these guys and girls don't even have a rating for PTSD and they're in combat? I'm not saying everybody that's in combat has PTSD. A lot do. You're in combat. It should be pretty simple. I mean, some experience way worse, horrible experiences than other, but this isn't about comparing horrible experiences. This is simply about did you fear for your life? Doesn't matter what made you fear for your life. You signed up to serve your country, and if you were put in a position where you feared for your life and you have mental health problems for the rest of your life as a result of that, you should be compensated. All right. I've rambled on for an hour here. Kind of got off topic a little bit, but that's the way I roll. I am an off topic kind of guy. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video, which will be in a couple days. Have a great Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or whatever day this is. Later.